Hey everybody, Mr. Rubo here. Today we are talking about simplifying and multiplying rational expressions. So first let's talk about what a rational expression is. When you see the word rational, you should think fraction or ratio. Um, so when it comes to simplifying, so we'll start with simplifying. First step is to factor. So you will factor both the numerator and denominator. And then the second step will be to divide out common factors. Okay, and you've really been doing this since you've dealt with fractions, but you've done it with numbers. Now we're going to do it with expressions. So let's start with a pretty simple one. So we have x squared plus 7x all over x squared. So I'm going to factor, which means I'm going to take out an x, because GCF factoring is always what you should look for. And then just for the sake of this problem, I'm also going to write x squared as x times x. Now, normally I wouldn't do that, but it's just to kind of show you, hey, there's an x on top and an x on bottom, so we divide them out. When you divide x by x, it's 1, so we get x plus 7 all over x, and that right there is our answer. Very common mistake students make is they want to cancel out these x's, but this is x plus 7 is a factor and x is a factor. They are when you have that addition involved, it no longer lets you simplify. Okay. So let's just see a little bit more of a problem. Just a different example here. So x squared plus 10x minus 11 over x squared plus 7x minus 8. So first thing is to factor. The top factors 2x plus 11, x minus 1. Bottom factors 2x plus 8, x minus 1. And here we can clearly see x minus 1 is common to both the numerator and denominator, so those will cancel, and you are left with x plus 11 over x plus 8, and there it is simplified. Okay, so now let's talk about multiplication. So with multiplication, it's a fraction. So if I were to give you something like this, 3/5, you multiply your numerators together, you multiply your denominators together, so you get 3/10. 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 5 is 10. It's no different when it comes to rational expressions, except now you just have an extra step of factoring as well. So let's say we have 5x squared over 2xy squared times 6xy to the third over 10y. So now I'm going to multiply these together, but when I do that, the numbers, I'm actually going to multiply them together, but I'm going to actually also factor. So 5 times 2 times 3, which 2 times 3 is 6. Then with the variables, I'm just going to go ahead and add their exponents, so that's x cubed, y cubed, and the bottom doing the same thing, so 2 times 10, which is 2 times 5, and then 1x and 3y's. Okay, they're all being multiplied together. Now I look for common factors. When it comes to numbers, you look for the same numbers. So 2 and 2, 5 and 5. So this 3 and this 2 do not cancel. X cubed and x will become x squared, and these guys, because they're the exact same, they cancel. So we end up getting 3x squared over 2, because this cancels and this becomes just one less. Okay, and there you go. Okay, one last example, just so we can see it. Another multiplication. So this one's going to look a little bit more of what we'll see more often, especially as you go into higher mathematics. You're going to see this sort of rational. Okay, so with this guy, when you multiply these out, you actually still want to just factor and then multiply straight across. So the top there factors to x times x squared minus 9, which we'll factor that in a second, and then x squared and x plus 3, and so that's just the GCF there. The bottom factors to x plus 3 squared, and oops, I forgot parenthesis here. That x minus 3 we cannot factor. Okay, so we multiply straight across, which in turn is really just make it this all one big fraction, right? So we're multiplying, multiplying. Now we keep factoring, so I'm going to have x, and actually I'm going to multiply it with that x squared, so x times x squared is x cubed. Then that's going to be x plus 3, x minus 3, and then we have another x plus 3 right there, all over x plus 3 squared and x minus 3. Okay, so now you start canceling out factors that are in both the top and bottom. Here's one x plus 3, here's a second x plus 3, here's an x minus 3. So all of that cancels, and the only thing left is x cubed. Okay. So yeah, multiplying just like you would a fraction, straight across. Simplifying also just like a fraction, you cancel out common factors. All right. So thanks for watching and have a good day.